Happy time zone, ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between. Welcome back to ZeldaSpeedRuns. Good to have you with us this Tuesday. Today we continue our coverage of the Link to the Past Randomizer Challenge Cup. We are in the semi-final stage. Can you believe it? This is game one of the semi-finals between krelbel and DrDiabetus. Looking forward to which will be an excellent match. On tracking duties tonight we have Daruk, and without further ado, I will leave you in the capable hands of our commentary team, Sir Ruvian and Adalor.
Everyone had a good week break here with the Challenge Cup, just taking a little vacation, as some of us also did to SGDQ this past week. But that's neither here nor there. Right now we've got a semi-final match right in front of us, Adalor, and what are we playing today?
It's probably my favorite mode, well, one of my two favorite modes in this this tournament format, what I like to call the Mick Boss Shuffle. We've got maps and compasses mixed up, and the bosses are going to be also mixed around. It is specifically the full boss shuffle, so there'll be two bosses that repeat once each, and those three that repeat can also be changed. So you might run into like two Trinexes, two Mothulas, and two Moldorms, just for old time's sake. We'll figure out what those are as we get going. We'll keep track of them and kind of try to anticipate what's coming up later in the race.
Yeah, it's the kind of mode where not knowing your prize information makes it a little bit scary to just start diving into dungeons you might be able to clear, or you might run into a Trinex in Eastern. You never know.
Yep, those maps being out there in the wild means we will not know our prizes until we find that information. That makes talking to Saha and the bomb vendor a little more valuable. We will also find compasses valuable because in recent updates with the relatively recent updates with the randomizer, compasses when the bosses are shuffled, well, actually when all the time, but you don't look when you're not in boss shuffle. Compasses will show you an icon on the dungeon map. When you have the compass, you can check the map and see a little icon to tell you what boss is there. And that's particularly relevant in this mode, so you know you don't have to potentially dive all the way down to the dungeon to find the boss you cannot defeat.
And other than that, it's just same old, 7-7 defeat Ganon. But this is a little more scrambled around, because you might see bosses in much easier spots. Mothula is a joke outside of its own arena. Or you might see bosses where they can actually prove to be a hassle, like basically anything that drops into Moth's arena.
Yeah, any other boss in Moth's arena is just a terrible time. Except for like Moldorm. Moldorm has no idea what's going on. All right, we immediately start with a bottle in Sank and an immediate compass to Skull in the house. So we'll, like I said, compasses are good to have. We want that information for later.
Yeah, the immediate divergence right away is going to give us a little bit of an idea of what the seed is going to ask of our runners in the early game. Because, of course, you're going to have more items in each dungeon to this point. There's an extra item in Hyrule Castle, for example, because there's no map.
Full magic on the tier 1 tree pole. Diabetus is going to give us a check on the lumberjack ledge. It is just some money. We're not going to get that today.
Maybe not intentionally. If you have to do Agate for Dark World access, well, scratch that. That's 300 just sitting in the secret passage. So, yeah, no one's going to be bonking that tree down today.
Yeah, speaking of 300s, yeah, there's another one right there. So two out of the 5 in the pool already spotted. There's our first shield at the mushroom spot, and we'll probably just be ignoring that and moving on. Yep. And a big 20 in the drop down. We'll be picking up the early money if we get it, because you do want to get, of course, up to that 100 rupee target to at least afford bottle vendor, and probably 50 more for safety in case you find yourself having to purchase bombs if the seed doesn't give you any elsewhere.
It really doesn't hurt to have a little bit of long-term planning in case Zora comes into play. Having a little extra money is nicer early as opposed to late.
Yeah, if you get a seed that gives you 2 300s like early on, you're like, well, that's my early game money set right there.
Well, it looks like we're going to see the first checks of Kakariko from Diabetus, and not 50 rupees just yet, so no bombs in hand. Hopefully the randomizer has placed one of our 3 bomb packs in these front 4 chests here.
krelbel has checked his map to confirm that indeed the maps are shuffled. This is McBoss. You do not know your prizes yet. You'll have to wait and see. There's a map of Meyer. So far, pretty much just a map of Meyer in here in terms of useful stuff, and Dr. Diabetus will have to bail out not having a bomb for the last check.
You see what krelbel just did that a lot of runners are probably glowering at him for?
He picked up that shield. Interesting choice.
The shield is a very interesting thing. It's a polarizing item. It can really save your bacon if you're in a bad spot with a blind in a bad spot. Or, you know, on the flip side, it is the single biggest generation of lag in this entire game.
We continue to have no luck with bombs in the first 8 checks in Kakariko, so DrDiabetus is most likely going to just head down here and probably check back a tavern and see if we get 50. Oh, yeah, we have a sick kid also. Maybe we get lucky and don't have to spend 50 to acquire a pack of bombs. That's a heart piece, and we're making a purchase today.
Yeah, and Bell decided not to even chance it with those top 2 checks with the well and the blind set location. We've got $300. We can afford to buy some bombs.
Yeah, so he's going to get a little bit of time back automatically here by being able to not have to go back into those locations for one single check for the bomb balls. But really not anything to talk about in Kakariko. We're still pending a few checks here, like Chicken Hut and those aforementioned other 2 bomb wall checks, but yeah, pretty dry Kakariko overall here. Oh, there's something. There's a Quake Medallion.
Yeah, that's one of those hold on and wait to see whether you need that later.
Yeah, I feel like that's still pretty dry overall, but maybe that turns into something useful. We'll see.
Yeah, it's not every day you see a Kakariko this stingy, you know?
Yeah. We got, again, only 2 checks pending here. We'll see if krelbel turns up anything more. We're gonna get both sides checked at the same time here. So, moment of truth: is there anything more in Kakariko, or is it literally just a Quake Medallion and there's something else? One more chance at glory. It's literally just a Quake Medallion. This has got to be the driest CAC I've seen in a long time, actually.
I mean, and not even, notwithstanding that it's MC Shuffle, you're getting nothing but like resources, 20 rupees, arrows, pieces of heart. That's it.
Yeah, there's not even any like information. Oh, we got a map to Mire, like just barely a bit that qualifies as information. Like really, just all right. We're going anywhere else for stuff. Clearly, so I'm expecting 5 significant items in Mini Moldorm Cave now, right? Yeah.
Our chickens haven't quite come home to roost yet. There's still one more check that could prove to be the make or break here in Kakariko. That's going to be on the race game.
Yeah, I suppose you can consider that part of Kakariko. It's outside the village proper, but close enough, I guess.
You think we have a blind check of it just because Kak was so dry?
That there's a possibility. Some runners do base that decision on how much stuff they've had so far. Having had almost nothing, you might just go for it. No, DrDiabetus says I'm going to just look at it. And you're going to want that. Yep, should have just gone for it.
And there it is. That's the one little piece of progression that you're probably happier to see than not. That glove is going to open 3 additional checks in the back of Escape for us here before we consider doing South Shore.
I will make the correct decision of just going for it and saying, you know what, we're going to just assume something's here because where else is the stuff? And he is right.
Yeah, I prefer doing it this way too, because you're not exactly bomb-starved in this situation, so whether Kakariko had anything for it or not, you can see that item right about where the sign is in the maze.
Yeah.
And that's a quicker save quit than checking it and having to come back. It's really a kind of a two-way sort of deal here. If you decide to check it and it's nothing, you save quit even faster. But if you decide to check it and it's something, and you haven't seen a single item of progression yet, you're going to be kicking yourself for not at least just jumping right in.
Got both of these guys going straight for the back of escape check, which is very reasonable. There are potential for 3 items back here. The only thing that is in Castle that isn't an item is still that small key. Got a map of Thieves Town. All right, and there's that key we're talking about. couple of Dark World maps so far, so once we're actually in the Dark World, they have the option of examining that map and scoping out a couple of prizes. Let's
So you
see
have a
where they
couple
head
different
next.
things you could decide to do here. Oh, Bell's probably going to set up this Houlihan, because that glove does put Zora in logic here for our runners.
Yep, he's thinking about the rest of the money for the South Shore trip and just planning on going up to Zora with that. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. A little bit of bomb knockback to offset the camera just enough to where you drop in here. The game does not know where you're actually going because it's just off on the coordinates, and it says, well, we're going to drop you into the glitch catching room, aka the Houlihan room. Or the error catching room, more accurately, but yeah.
That little extra boost of 225 rupees, as you can see now, Bell is sitting pretty for Zora.
Yeah, DrDiabetus has just 41 because it has not spotted the 300 at Uncle, and obviously hasn't picked up that Houlihan room either. So he's gonna be very, very short. Something's on Zora early on. This could be a big difference for Bell.
One thing I'm looking at that's actually kind of scaring me for both runners here is their bomb counts going into Mini Moldorm Cave.
Yeah,
with only the B and no other weapons to really speak of here.
We'll see that B get used. Yeah, it takes out one. We get 1.5. Well, not great. Gotta hope for just a little bit of good luck.
Sometimes one is all you need, though.
We take that. That works out. What is our bounty of 5 items? There's a Moon Pearl. That's one good thing we like to see. There's our second glove. And a compass to Ice Palace. And an armor upgrade. Nice mini Moldorm. We like that. That's Dark World access, actually. Both gloves and Pearl. Let's go.
And a little bit of safety for the Dark World. Not having any weapons to really mitigate anything that's going to come slinging at you. Blue Mail's going to be kind of nice to have here this early on.
Yeah, especially if we're going to walk over and tangle with these crabs. You never know how squirrely they can be. Ooh, Krelbel gets 2 kills with the B.
Now he just needs a little bit of cooperation from these mini Moldworms, and it does not look like they're playing nice.
Oh, no. Well,
he'll come back. I promise you that. But that is a little bit time costly here.
Yeah, the seed has given them literally no bomb pickup so far. That 10 they bought was they had to buy that 10. That's the only 10 bombs they've had, which is it's really surprising to see it be so stingy.
Yeah, it looks like DrDiabetus wants to pick up these bombs again, just north here of the shore of Lake Hylia.
Yeah, so you're going to have to walk over to the lake shop, buy another 10 pack for 50, and then probably head over to the eastern area, see what Saha has, and maybe a dip into eastern itself. No, he's going to save it quick. This might be maybe a Dark World trip, actually.
That would be my guess here, actually. You got the mitts, you got the Moon Pearl, you already have a pretty decent idea of a couple things going on in Dark World. I think this is just grabbing those bombs so that you don't end up skipping anything if the 50-50s don't play nice.
That rock Krelbel just lifted up, by the way, is a 50-50 rock. You can get a coin flip bomb from that rock. And he's going to go ahead and do what we're talking about. Go ahead and do the fake flipper and give a little check and see what's in the Zora area. He's going to do the bush setup, probably. Yeah, he's in the bush setup. You'll line with that wall there, walk at the bush, grab it, and as you're grabbing it, buffer upright diagonal, and then it just puts you right on the transition pixel.
That's another thing that not having the Moon Pearl is going to kind of not be nice for Bell here, is otherwise he would have been able to check the 2 items of Waterfall without flippers. Now he's not going to be able to go in there at all.
Yeah. Well, there's our Ether Medallion. 2 coins out of 3 of the collection. One of those items, again, yet to be seen whether that has actual value.
Like Diabetes is going to have a peek at the map here. We see a pendant on Meyer, and Thieves Town is a confirmed crystal here.
That was a red crystal. It was number 6, yeah. Finding out your pendants is good, especially when they're not the green pendant. The red crystal, not as exciting information because you can get two free prize hints from your bomb shop vendor in the Dark World. Oh, krelbel, please do be careful. Watch out for crabs. Ooh, that heart will not save you against crabs. Okay, he's fine now.
Yeah, that looks really sketchy. It looked you were between the shore and a hard place there. Oh boy.
All right, big 20 in the ledge. We have one chance left at Zora himself, who is in logic. We have a glove. You just got to get the money and go talk to Zora. There could be logical progression here.
It's worth pointing out, even though we can actually go to the boss of Thieves Town, there is no physical way we can actually kill a boss of Thieves Town at this time.
Yeah. You can definitely look at the boss, but there's no way to deal with it just yet. Nope. All this work and it's just 50 rupees on Zora. Well, that's pretty typical, really.
Yeah, what they say, scam fish gonna scam. Now, do you look at the boss here and see what it is for later, knowing this is a crystal? No, it looks like DrDiabetus just wants to go straight down and clean it up. Honestly, that's not a bad move.
Yeah, I don't blame him. You kind of want to just... Because you're going to walk into a boss room and you know you're going to get kicked out of the entrance anyway, and you're going to walk back in to get to the rest of the stuff. The information could be good, but yeah.
Yeah, now Bell may have spent that 500 rupees he accumulated on Zora and got a paltry sum in exchange, but that's not going to be a big deal here. We did see 300 in the front of Thieves Town. So as long as he makes his way back to Mini Moldworm Cave, at some sooner than later point, he'll be A-okay on money for the rest of the seed.
Yeah, he effectively got the 10 bomb off of Zora because he went and spent that 50 immediately on a bomb pack, so yeah. We're going to get a peek at Sauce Closet. The green pendant is for Desert today. There's a nice blue potion bottle. A first bomb pack. They do exist, turns out.
Yeah, and chat's discussing this Thieves Town play. In a way, yeah, there's plenty to think about when there's not a lot going on right now. We have literally no weapons. Literally, the only key items that we have that we can take advantage of are the items that allow us to get to the Dark World. So do you either plow into dungeons and see if there's something tucked away, or do you go directly to, say, Hype Cave and try to figure out what the seed's going to throw at us here?
Yeah, having two gloves means you only have access to the village portal, so you're forced to start there. And while you're in the area, oh, Belle, do be careful, please. While you're in the area, I mean, Thieves Town's a decent look. You don't have to find the big keys. The keys aren't shuffled, so you know you can get to the back and peek around. There are a total of 6 items in the dungeon. There's another bottle in the cell. And we're going to deathport from the bottom. Belle's picking up his pearl and glove and armor upgrade here.
See, that's kind of where I'm at, though. I don't feel like I want to dig deep into a dungeon that I know I'll need to clear again later.
Yeah.
If I have other things that I can look at on the overworld first. Ooh, oh, there's a weapon. Oh, boy. That actually does allow us to kill a couple bosses on its own.
Yep, I mean, that does count for any boss that you could kill with a sword. It will probably deal damage to most of them, if not all of them, I think.
Yeah, Samaria will deal the same amount of damage as the Fighter Sword to most bosses that would otherwise be vulnerable to the Fighter Sword.
There's another compass, this one for Desert Palace. We have a few compasses already. Once we're actually in these dungeons, we can, again, peek that map and see what boss is lurking there, so we know if we can even kill it. That's particularly useful for 3 particular bosses. Argus, who requires a hookshot. Cold Stare requires a method of breaking the ice, either Bombus Medallion or Fire Rod. And the ultimate worry, Trinex, requiring both fire and ice rods to be able to handle.
Another little wrinkle of divergence here.
I like Belle's look into Skull because, again, like we've been saying, there are not exactly a lot of checks to find. There's our 3rd medallion on Dig Game, so we're no longer concerned about whether those are useful. Yeah, I like Skull Front here, especially in this mode. Skull's value has literally doubled from 2 items to 4. There's a lot more potential here to find some decent stuff.
Yeah, there's a good chance that something's in Skullwoods. It's not quite as nice as if you had small keys shuffled on their own since there are 3, or just full key sanity in general. But having 2 additional checks, when you can get to all but 2 checks without a fire rod anyway, is a pretty decent haul, especially if, any of them yield anything.
Yeah, Skullwoods does still have 3 small keys to find, so we're probably still going to find at least 1 or 2 of those. You know how this dungeon goes.
Yeah, but you're guaranteed to get at least 1 item out of the front here.
Yeah. It's not possible for the back to hold all of them. Dr. BS giving a look. It's Hera and Thieves are our red crystals. We know about Thieves already, but yeah, confirming that Hera is the other one on his side.
If Bell feels so inclined, too, he can actually peek for later, as he is doing as I speak, to find out we have Cold Stare sitting in Skullwoods today.
Yep, there's one of those bosses we're concerned about. I mean, we know where the Bombus medallion is now, but you can't actually use it without a sword. We're waiting for that, and that's a lamp. Hype Cave is a red boomerang, some money, and some bombs, and well, that's about it. That's pretty typical Hype Cave these days. Bell's also found a cape.
Ooh, that cape could be interesting if there happens to be anything of value lying on Bumper.
Yep, I mean, I can't imagine he doesn't go immediately look at that. There's a map of Ice Palace. More prize info for us.
We were just talking about how there are four total items in here. We just found 3.
Yeah, we might get the full all 4 here if we're lucky. No, there's the big. Well, it could still be the big chest.
And Bell is opting to take the Death Warp instead of waiting for a ride.
Saved a few seconds by that, yeah. And Dr. W is going to head over to the eastern area, do a little bit of checking that krelbel's already seen. He's going to do a swordless north bomb jump here. Let's see if he can actually pull it off. These are tricky without a blade to do ledge spins.
Yeah, if you're so used to ledge spinning, your good backup is just having a decent pixel layout on your sprite to line up with the terrain. Unfortunately, it's just a small key in that last check, so we're going to see Bell take another safety death warp. You don't want to die on the overworld all the way up here now, do you?
Yeah, reset your health and go back out with what 4 hearts I think they'll just give you right now, and you'll be able to go check out Bumper Ledge and then head down into Village.
Meanwhile, Diabetus has cleaned up the back of Saha's closet, and he is going to make a peek into Eastern Palace here. With, again, a little bit extra value in Eastern. There are no keys in chests in this dungeon, so the maximum value right now is going to be 5, unless we find a bow, in which case 6. Just a map sitting on the Bumper Ledge, so a little bit sad.
Yeah, not worth the time to get.
And at this point, you kind of would wish the game would just give you a weapon. Oh my, there's flippers in Eastern.
Well, there's something. I mean, Sphere 1 flippers, that could point towards... We know there's something on Zora that could point towards a Waterfall Cave, though.
Yeah, Waterfall, the only water-locked check we haven't actually seen yet in the Light World. It could, of course, also point to something down the line, possible a dive into swamp or ice for a crystal. And chat pointing out, that is also Eastern Dark World in logic if you want to swim around the pegs on the east edge of Hype Cave, the North Dark Shore, to make your way over to Pod in the Pyramid, for example.
Bell has his Samaria as well. We're going to check out the rest of Village. He's going to do a little map check. We've got Isis or Crystal as well.
Well, that explains the flippers so early.
We do have the Bombus Medallion as well available on Dig Game, so since we've got a sword, we could actually get into Ice Palace.
Yeah, but unless we find a hammer, we're not going to be able to clear it.
I mean, yeah, but we can at least get in there.
Yeah, you can get in there and have a little fun.
Hammerless ice dives are a thing. We don't like them, but they are a thing.
It could very well just be the Hammer and Ice Palace. You never know.
Pretty much one of the worst locations for it, yeah. Got a big 20 in the Eastern Big Chest. Dr. Diabetus will continue on through the dark part of Eastern.
And when you ice break in Ice Palace without the hammer and without an extra key, you just get that pair of checks. And then you end up just kind of wanting to say some words to the game. Because the game is being like, oh, well, here's your big key and iced tea. Now go get your hammer out of the big chest.
Yeah. Not bad navigation through the dark part of Eastern, the east dark side, and we're going to go to the big key chest. We'll get our last check in Eastern itself. Assuming it's not like a French vanilla bow here. Nope, just a heart piece. We're out of here.
Bell is not interested in the back of Thievestown right now.
Yep, he's doing the bailout at 4 and we'll go somewhere else. And that's, I think, pretty reasonable. You can do the back later when you can actually kill the boss. With whatever it may be. We don't even know what boss it is yet.
Yeah, curious, neither runner decided to have a peek at the boss, even though they had the ability to do so. It's a crystal, so you have to come back later. Chances are you're probably just putting it off until later.
Yeah. I guess, I feel like if you're going to do that, you probably do it while you're death warping. But I mean, coming from the big key chest is still a little bit of a walk. But yeah. If you're planning on doing the back while you're there, I don't think you check the boss. But if you're gonna do it after front 4, I think that's fairly reasonable.
You know, I thought there too is what if you get a boss that's not exactly easy to death warp off of? That takes a little extra time, like a Moldorm or a Landmo. Don't exactly do a lot of damage with the mail upgrade. Yeah, you could be there for a little bit. We are going to see something neither runner decided to do later on, and it's a little more comfortable with a Cane of Samaria and a Boomerang in hand here. We are going to see the Front of Escape.
And Bell is going to opt to pick up the frog and take him a little walk. Mirrorless Smiths is certainly a thing you can do. It's a bit time consuming, especially without a mirror or a fleeter boots to get him back to the village easily. But Bell said, let's do this now. We're a little bit thin on check still, so I don't hate it. There's half magic in the first chest of Castle for DrDiabetus.
Chat is asking where Diabetus picked up a shield, and the shield, unfortunately, that he could not skip was in the map chest of Eastern Palace. I love those little movement breaks where you could just bounce off of the trees or the bumpers or hook onto special terrain just to save yourself those couple extra frames of walking around.
Yeah.
I expect to see a lot of that.
Yeah, as long as we don't have boots, of course, we're looking at the map of this dungeon. Of course, why would the castle map is in Castle? Because where else would it be?
It's the funniest joke I've ever not wanted to ever see.
Talking about the extra one item in Castle, but it turns out, no, not really. Almost got his red boomerang, 100 rupees bomb pack, and we're going to save and quit, probably go drop off the smith. Meanwhile, DrDiabetus is now in the cell room in Castle. He's going to do a pot and some Samaria block action. Green Guard's on his ass, though, so he might have to be a little bit careful. Nah, he's fine. Okay.
Curious, though, he's not setting up to Death Warp at all.
Blue Rupee. Yeah, he's out of here. Save and quit.
So
at this point, the only thing that's left is in Dark Cross. I mean, do you want to walk to Dark Cross with your equipment? It wouldn't be terrible. Half magic like Samaria, you can navigate with that pretty easily, but he's decided not to want to do it.
Hey, you don't need much to see in Dark Cross to begin with. I mean, just the boomerang is plenty enough to get through it without an issue, but that is also up to runner choice, too.
Of course, we know there's a lamp available, so Dark Cross is actually in logic.
And so too is that waterfall that Bell was not able to go check.
And we've got a crystal hair. Okay, well now Bell knows about his red crystal hair, having not gone to the bomb vendor yet, and he already knew about Saha. Oh, there's a. Well,
is this even? Is this even? Who rolled this? I think Bell rolled this.
I'll go look and see who put the command. It's probably Bell though. He usually does.
Oh. You love to see a vanilla sword, but you hate to have to go that far into the sea to actually get it. Come on now. On the plus side, it's going to make this escape play much nicer for Bell than it was for Diabetus.
he did indeed issue the command. So we know if we're going to blame anyone, we're going to blame krelbel for this atrocity. Yeah, so Blumerian Knight in chat there. Yep, that is indeed now Ice Palace accessible. That hammerless ice dive we were talking about, now a possibility.
Let's watch these two checks to see if we're seeing anything important. That's a compass to Meyer.
Our compass.
And, oh, jeez. Oh, there's another sword. We have Master Sword known already, and we had literally just found our first sword a minute ago.
Two swords now located, and DrDiabetus, of course, in the area. We'll go ahead and check out what's on Zora and get his disappointment. Kind of expected disappointment, though. You walk up to Zora, you expect he's going to rip you off, probably.
Yeah, but the one time you don't go to Zora is the one time he has, you know, your hammer, your bow, your ice rod.
Someone else's moon pearl.
Not speaking from experience, are we?
Actually, yes.
See, though, at least in Berserker's Multi-World or Archipelago, he'll tell you what he has.
Yeah, if
so there's incentive to go walk out. He doesn't tell you if you're playing on your own in a race. He wants to sell you that information.
All right.
I'd like to see... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Doc's now got his first sword. He's even walking over back to village. I'd imagine this is probably a trip to clean up Skullfront, see what he can find there. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a peek into... You'd probably say going to Thieves again, though, not without a hammer.
No, I say he goes to Skullwoods here.
Unless he's feeling daring and he wants to go peek at the boss, and maybe it's something he can kill with a sword, but who knows.
So I was going to say, I would like to see Bell Death Warp and check this Darkross. And indeed, he is Death Warped, and he is going to Darkross.
Yep, he does have the lamp, so again, this is in logic. It's the last item in Castle. We've already seen the small case. We know this is something of potential value. Just got to get through all the rats coming at you out of the dark.
Yeah, but at least you can see them with that little lamp. You know, that little light cone you got.
Doc having a much easier time in the middle room of Skull, being able to just come in and drop the Samaria block and easily get to the back. And it's a big 20 in Dark Cross. Oh well. It was worth a shot.
So, now what? Do you have to kill the Thieves Town boss? I mean, obviously we don't have too much else to look at without going to Eastern to pick up the flippers. But then you can only do so much of Ice Palace, too.
There's a little bit of mountain in logic here. I think that's what Bell's going for. Not a lot of mountain, but you know, there's a little bit of mountain at least. We can get the save and quit point and have that handy for later. And maybe we get lucky and there's something on like a vanilla mirror. That'd be kind of cute.
I would honestly be a little more excited to see a hook shot than a mirror at this point.
Drop off the old man in just a few seconds here and see if he has something of interest for us. And DrDiabetus has now got his lamp, about to finish up his trip into the front of Skull. Nope, another big 20 there. So we can peek at one item on top of Skullwoods, Spec Rock Cave, and then actually get the one item inside if we want it. And Doc has now confirmed that there is one item in the back of Skull. Oh, that's after he's done over here, but yeah. Almost done. He'll know there's one in left in Skull to get later. Locked, of course, by that a fire rod.
Just and sitting inside Spectacle Rock is nothing.
10 arrows.
Oh boy.
Bundle of sticks. Well, it was worth a shot. You got that mountain save point for late, start point for later. So we're you'll be on the mountain at least a couple more times this game, most likely.
So now we've gotten a sword from two different spots, both one sphere after the mitts. Well, no. The other sword was earlier, but we had Master Sword after mitts. And the flippers and that sword are in Sphere 1 too. Are we feeling Ice Palace here?
I don't know. It's I'm feeling more like East Dark World. I feel like it just a pure feeling. Oh, DrDiabetus is actually going for this map here. He wants that information. I don't know. Ice Palace maybe. I feel like East Dark World. Like you go maybe take a little peek into Pod, Hammerless Bowless Pod. You know that's a thing. Pyramid Ledge, Catfish. There's some potential over there.
I'm going to say I do like picking up that map. I do like the information that map is giving us. I'm not sure if I like anything besides that, though.
Yeah, I missed about what map that was.
That is the Turtle Rock map. Now, Trinex
TR,
is not
okay.
guaranteed to be in Turtle Rock by any means with Boss Miser active, but Turtle Rock is a pretty decent dungeon in terms of how many checks there are. Like, that's, what, 7 items? Albeit a slow 7. 8 if you have the mirror.
Yeah. Bell's got his flippers now. He can start thinking about his options after he's done with Eastern. And DrDiabetus has opted to head over to talk with Catfish. Got a map check. We've got another crystal on TR, so whatever boss is there, we got to kill it. At this point, as soon as we find our third pendant off of a map we haven't yet checked, we'll be good to go on our dungeon knowledge. Another big 20. Yeah. This seed sure is doing a good job of holding out on the big progression items.
Yeah, this is a pretty slow start, even for an MCC. There's not a lot going on pretty much anywhere we go. It's that slow burn of what could possibly be anywhere else other than here.
Yeah.
And just constantly stonewalled every single step of the way. What's going to be our big breakout item here? Like, there's got to be something that eventually allows our runners to just start having their way.
Yeah, hook shot would be a big one because that lets you go up the mountain and get across the east mountain and do a lot over there. Hammer would be pretty nice too. You can do some stuff with hammer, like clear Ice Palace. Yeah, I'm feeling like if there's one big item that's coming up soon that gives them a lot more checks, it's probably hook shot. A heart piece on Pyramid Ledge. He's going to pick it up and I hope for a refill here. Nope, no refill.
Ooh, chat points out something excellent. If we get a hook shot and a hammer, we can go into TR. There's probably not far we can get into TR without the fire rod, but nonetheless, that's an option.
Yep.
Oh, Bell is remembering this big chest. Chad had pointed out he'd walk right past it. Of course, it's only $20, but still. That's not something you want to be like, oh, I left item in place.
Yeah. With your progression being kind of like this thin, you really don't want to leave anything hanging at this stage of the game.
Curiously, Bell has decided to spawn at Sank after picking up the flippers.
What is he up to? Maybe another walk to village? He might be thinking, well, I mean, you got to get in the Dark World somehow, and the village is the only way you can do it, and maybe heading for a similar walk over to like East Dark World or something. There's not really anything else he can do over here unless he wants to take an inquisitive dive into Thieves to look at the boss.
I mean, I almost would at this point.
He might be thinking like maybe just do back of Thieves at this point. He does have chat's point out. Good call there. He does have purple chest as an option while he's over here. He could drag purple. Hey, if he grabs purple though, he has to save and quit. Like you can't like drag that down and mirror. Like what's he going?
No, this is East Dark World. He's going straight to Catfish.
He's going to Kern Jump. Okay. Oh, he has flippers. Never mind. Not even Kern Jump. He's gonna walk over there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this will be flippers, possibly pyramid, and then we'll be joining DrDiabetus in Pod.
Correct, chat. Mirror and purple chest would suck. It is one of the classic things this randomizer can do, and you're just like, ugh, really, game? Palace of Darkness, of course, has, as we said earlier, 7 potential items in here. Normally 5, add 2 from the map and compass. We still have a ton of keys in here, of course. It is pod has 6 small keys scattered all over the place.
Yeah, but the blessing in disguise is that there's guaranteed to be 4 small keys in the front of pod, so no matter what, you should be able to get to the back of the dungeon as long as a key is in a spot. There's your mirror, by the way.
That's pretty big. Now paired with a hammer, we can now access East Mountain. That'd be a pretty big find. Hammer and pod would be kind of cute. Oh, 2 keys in the rupee basement, so we're going to check Elway.
Don't you try summoning a hammer and pod.
You're going to be mad when I'm right.
I'm going to be so mad.
Oh, powder.
Oh, that's interesting with the knowledge of that mirror in hand, too, because that is a check we can make.
That can put the hammer on Magic Bat.
Oh, not that I'm intimate with that experience or anything. Ugh. Chad asking, what if hammer is in Pyramid Fairy? Then, frankly, the hammer's in logic as long as we can obtain the Hera and Thieves' Town crystals by virtue of Aga 1. Nice big key in Dark Maze. I mean,
Yes, you do, yeah.
that's classic.
Big 20 in the big chest.
Asking, krelbel didn't do Waterfall Fairy when he did Catfish? Well, they're in opposite worlds, my friends.
Yeah, he has no way to get there. The mirror is in pod. He hasn't gone there yet. Yeah, that waterfall cave for him will be pretty well isolated now.
It's gonna depend on where the other swords happen to end up, then. That's the end of the road here in Palace of Darkness, unless... we're gonna drop and see if there's anything we can do with the big key chest up here.
Yeah, I think we're looking at 1 key left on... Or did you spend the key? I think we might have... There might actually be an item here. It might be an item and there's 1 key left on the right side. We'll see. Now, key for key. Okay, so right side is then... I think we've opened all the doors, so right side's actually, like, no more keys over there.
Curious, even in this mode, there are progressive bows, so... DrDiabetus opting not to use a potion to glitch out the mimics and go check what's on the bowlock side.
Yeah, we do have that option. We might see krelbel take that while he's here. We were given a free blue. Maybe he just doesn't want to spend the blue, or he's not thinking about breaking logic for right side pod. Who knows?
Now you're going to make me curious to count these keys here.
Yeah, if I'm right, we've got 4 keys spotted, and there are 2 in the back, so we've got actually 2 not keys on the right side, as in 2 items. Because I'm pretty sure DrDiabetus opened every door.
Righto, so we are going to be able to see Tower of Hera in just a moment here. Now, hopefully... Well, never mind the hopefully part. I was going to say, hopefully the key's not in the basement, because you don't want the key to be in the basement regardless. But we do have a fire source to go get it if we need to.
Yeah, it's just long to do it, but lacking a hook shot, it will be your only option to climb here if it is there.
Yeah, but it's also much nicer to do if you happen to have the mirror, which is our access to Hera in this case. So, thank goodness for that.
Yep, there's key number 3, and I believe this one in Shalfos basement was key number 4. So we're gonna, krelbel's on the route to go to right side if he wants to break into there and get those 2 items bowless. We'll see if he goes for it right now. Yep, he's interested. So we're gonna see him do what's called our pod potion camera unlock. Whatever you want to call it, potion or pod, one of the 2. But yeah, the idea is you move left in this room while using a potion. And as long as you don't touch either left or right directional while walking up through the door, the camera breaks and you get to just scroll the mimics off screen. And because the game says, oh, there's no enemies on screen, they must be dead. You killed them. Good job. I'll open the door. Just like that.
Allows you to say no to the logic for the bow in Palace of Darkness. It could also harbor a bow, for all we know. And not having the hammer, Bell is going to just go ahead and walk into a few things here to get his health back down.
Carrying the Death Warp, yeah. We did see the Hera big keys in the basement cave, so we don't have to go to the coffee break chest. There's a compass of Thieves Town. We can know what that boss is now.
2 hearts on the right side of Pod. You kind of hate to see that.
Oh, he hasn't gone to the back to get his mirror yet. Ah, jeez.
Yeah, that's why he was setting the Death Warp.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, this is the route you're going to do if you're doing the front. You're planning on breaking right side, but yeah.
This does allow him to just mirror out when he's done, though, too.
Yeah.
Or just save and quit. That's entirely up to him what he decides to do.
I don't see why he would mirror. There's not really anything else in the eastern area to do at this point. I think it's just going to be a save and quit, yeah.
I don't remember if we saw what was on Hilly Island or not.
I don't remember either. I don't know that either of these guys looked at it, but I'm not sure there.
Nice small key in the big chest.
That's going to point us at being an item in Coffee Break. And assuming nothing else comes out of here, DrDiabetus will probably feel like he's forced to go for it because you really haven't found anything else on the mountain.
Derek is reminding us it was a hard piece on the lake. Now we've got a Helmasaur King, and Diabetes says no thank you.
Interesting. I mean, you have bombs. You can do that fight. It's not great with just a fighter sword, but you can do it.
I think the issue here is more that the fight is long.
It is.
Or maybe you're just not comfortable attempting to have to do it with fighter sword spins after throwing all kinds of bombs at it. Just, oh my goodness. It's not a comfortable place to fight Helma, either on the top of Hera or at the top of GT. It's bad.
Yeah, those fights are terrible. Yeah, it is 5 bombs to take out the mask, or 17 hammer hits, whichever you prefer, or whatever you might only have access to one of those. But yeah, like said, Zora, it is a time-consuming fight at that point. You may think like, yes, I could kill this, but is it worth the time? And it might not be. Because you're at that point, you're committing to 8 fighter sword spins in phase 2, and that's just it's a lot. And the boss is terrible to hit because the room is just not great. There's a book in Hera basement.
That's curious.
That gets us into
save and quit
desert.
Could have read Ether, decided to save and quit.
I would have read Ether Tablet, yeah.
Yeah, same.
Because why not? So krelbel's got his mirror now. He's going to make the same trip up the mountain and say, well, we're pointing at Hera. What's up there?
There's a couple less bombs than Diabetes did, though. So we might see him take a shot at Helma. Maybe not. I guess it depends on what situation we're in when we get to the top of the tower.
It's going to suck if a Hera or an Ether Tablet actually is an item because that's in logic. We have 2 available swords.
Yeah,
neither of these 2 have picked up both of them.
Yeah, both runners have different swords. Diabetes went and found his sword at a waterfall cave on his way to Zora. krelbel's sword is actually vanilla on the smiths. They apparently they can fabricate a sword from nothing. So, hey, you know what else is on the table for us here?
What else is on the table for us here?
First check of Swamp.
Oh, first check Swamp. Don't we love it?
No. Do you want me to answer truthfully? No.
we've seen some great matches lately involving first check Swamp, haven't we? Granted that some of those were in keys modes where it's literally the first chest instead of get the small key and then go walk into the map chest, but you know, pretty much the same deal.
Yeah, I thought for a moment we might see something nice coming out of peeking around the desert and having like, oh my gosh, there's boots on the ledge, but nope, it's just a big 20. Again.
So we will have an option of claiming a few items here in desert itself, depending on... It could be like hard boots lock, you don't really get anything out of it. Boss check finds an Armos Knight there.
Now, I almost wish that Bell wouldn't bomb jump here, just because as a spectator, we know he needs the bombs for Helma. Oh my gosh, is that bottle no mode? That's bottle percent for Diabetus already. Fantastic. And it is a boots-locked desert, so this book is not telling us anything we want to know.
Could be Ether Tablet, or actually even Bombo's Tablet. We can walk to that and mirror to it. That's a possibility. Not that that's appetizing for either of these guys, considering you can't even claim it.
Yeah, and Bell's going for it here on this boss. It is a red crystal, so it's a required boss no matter what. But it also has the added benefit of possibly unlocking an item for us. Yeah, well, 2 items if we decide we want to bomb dupe or something along those lines, because that's on the table now too.
Yeah.
This is actually a very good strat that Bell's employing here. He's being very patient with Helmasaur, setting the bomb right when Helma goes after his 3rd movement cycle, in a spot where the bomb is guaranteed to hit that mask, and then just getting heck out of dodge.
He can certainly do this fight faster. He might be concerned that he only has like 1 extra bomb, so you don't want to make a mistake and not kill the boss here.
All right, this start crossplay from Diabetes is probably like, well, I've left this laying around for a while, so this could be something.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we saw is another big 20. Yeah, Bell is playing the super safe, because the last thing you want to do is fail at this fight and have to come back. Especially if it harbors progression.
You've invested a ton of time into this fight now, and you want to make sure you actually complete it. Right, he's halfway through this spins, just 4 more to go.
And Helma, thankfully, not camping over that pit makes things a little bit nicer here. Me and my big mouth.
Oh, I was off by 1. All right, he's done. Do we have an important item here on this perfectly killable yet time-consuming Helmasaur fight? It's a map.
Oh. Well, it tells us whether or not Swamp Palace is something we need to consider.
Yeah, that'll confirm for us in a bit whether it is the good old Pendant Swamp.
And Diabetes is going to go check out the other Red Crystal boss. And it's Moldorm!
Hello, Moldorm.
It's like you leave Hera and Moldorm follows you.
Yeah. Not particularly threatening, but again, while we were here earlier, there was no way for us to actually fight it. So it just wasn't an option until, having a sword.
Yeah, Pyramid Fairy is... Now we know Pyramid Fairy is in logic. Ugh.
Yeah.
It could very well be Hammer and Pyramid Fairy.
It'll be gross if it is.
Yeah, you hate to see it. But the problem with that is one of us is going to have to go back up to Hera in order to make that dream come alive.
Mm-hmm.
Also, please kill it. That is a thing of nightmares.
At least 8 Eyes has a lot of good symmetry.
All right, and this will also yield an item that we haven't seen yet, so possibly something that we could possibly need. It's just $20.
Nope, big 20.
Those of us just joining us, this is the first in a best-of-3 match between krelbel and DrDiabetus. Winner gets to take on the winner of the other side of the bracket between Vinter and Farfaloo for all the marbles. But that is happening later. What's happening right now is 10 arrows on Ether Tablet.
Oh, Ether's dead too. Where's the thing?
Purple chest? Nobody saw purple chest.
Purple chest is more appetizing now, actually, considering you can drag it down there and also check Bombo's tablet. I wonder if Krelbel's heading for that next.
No, Bell didn't do purple chest, did he? Now that he has the mirror, it makes sense to do this now, because you can combo purple chest checks with K45, and honestly, this is better for Diabetes here, because he's about to get his Master Sword.
Yep. And if there is something on Bombo's tablet, he'll be able to claim it.
Chat wants to know where Hammer's going to be.
I don't know, chat. You tell us. Where's the hammer? Your guess is as good as ours at this point.
We still have Magic Bat to consider here. And not just considering Diabetes is going straight for it without touching the purple chest.
That does sacrifice your portal to get to it, but you're in the village. You can go back in the dark world. It's just a bit of walking.
this is the hook shot?
What if
Or,
it's
you know-
$50?
Well, that's enough money to buy a hook shot.
Is it though?
Wait, what do you mean?
Are
we're not
hook
playing
shots that cheap around these
Shop
days?
Sanity, please? No? Actually, no. Not even in Shop Sanity are hook shots that good. If you haven't noticed in chat already, we do have now a bet. You can set a bet. Tell us where the hammer is. Oh, Bella's going. He's not even thinking about the bet. And you know, that's actually the correct call in this case, even though objectively it looks wrong.
Yeah, you've got more than one check in this direction. You've got K45, purple chest. You can also read the Bombo's tablet. If he gets lucky, there's a sword in the way, and you can actually claim Bombo's tablet in case it's important. What's in K45? $50.
Skips $50 to find $50. You'll love to see it. The seed has been dangling that carrot that is Ice Palace for quite some time now. Neither runner taking the bait.
You know, you can't blame him though. Hammerless Ice is a play you really don't want to have to make, especially when you're having, you know, it's hammerless, so you have to walk from village to get to it. It's so long.
Hammerless Ice is, I would say Hammerless Ice is a mood.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's not the purple chest.
All right, let's go read Bombo's tablet and see what's there. Yeah.
What if there's something here and Bell feels like he has to dive ice looking for his sword? Oh, it's just so many bombs.
That's the 10 bomb.
Oh, it is.
Well, he hasn't been over here in the desert area yet. So this is a natural route for him. You check Bombo's tablet and drop off the ledge and go check out Agina in the desert inside. So, yeah, pretty natural.
You know, actually, I think between our runners now, all we have left is first check of Swamp and Ice.
First, I believe so. Yeah, I mean, and DrDiabetus is now in the area for that. He's going to drop a purple chest, read Bombo's tablet, well, actually get Bombo's tablet, and then head back east towards Swamp. I mean, I think at this point you probably just do your first check Swamp. Yeah. And the hammer will be there, and I will be just like having a smile on my face that everyone can hear, and people will be mad because this game is silly.
Scholzer is giving me a little nudge on the arm here. We still have Graveyard Ledge. I don't consider Pyramid Fairy right now. I really don't.
Yes, it's in logic, but who wants to do that right now?
You know, knowing this is a pendant, do you think maybe you steal the key?
Maybe. That's a possibility.
Hey, depending on whether it's small or big key on... Well, it would have to be the small key on the torch, with this being 10... Well, no, not necessarily. Oh, Bell... Oh.
He's
Okay.
thinking about it. He's going to glimpse the torch at least. See which key it is. It's the big key, yeah. And
The big key blocks the small key,
about
so
it.
the dungeon is hard boots locked and not just
Okay.
like...
He's out.
You can't touch anything. Oh boy, this is decision time. We're going to see that first check of Swamp. That we know. Is this gonna be... Is it gonna be like French vanilla hookshot? Is it gonna be hammer? Is it gonna be a bow?
Bell's heading southeast, maybe dunking in the lake for Ice Palace. It might be where he's headed, yeah.
I feel like if you're going to Ice Palace, you have to do Waterfall first.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not Swamp Palace.
It's ice or like Pyramid Fairy or Grave Ledge, basically. Yeah. Yeah, he's doing Waterfall. This is the correct play. You clean this up while you're here because that's the closest you're ever going to be to it. Yeah. But you'll be rewarded for it.
He also gets a free check of the potion that the Waterfall Fairy will give him after spending the blue in pod.
Also that, yeah.
And our runners are going to converge on Ice Palace. Speaking of blue...
Free blue, not bad at all. He's going to get a couple of those. Yeah, definitely. Especially going into Ice Palace, he'd like to have... Do you have an empty? You don't have an empty.
Why do you come in here and pretend like you have something this fountain wants? Come back with empty bottles.
You
Bell,
have 3
please.
blues. Get out of here.
Yes, Bell, you have 3 flutes, but you're not playing glitches.
You just scrolled through them. You know you have 3 blues. All right, Dr. Beast is just a little bit ahead getting into Ice Palace here. We've got a, well, pretty much a convergence here. They now have both their swords and pretty much, yeah, like the same inventory across the board, except Dr. Diabetes has found all the bottles. That's the difference.
And Bell's going to grab these extra resources here. The bombs, just because he was kind of low, but also the arrows. Just to have. They're nice to have.
This compass chest yields us a small key, 1 of 2 in the dungeon.
That's actually a pretty huge key if you plan to icebreak, because that allows you to get from the icebreak side, the big key side of the dungeon, without the hammer. Now we'll see if that is something Diabetes plans to do. He does flip the switch in case the big key is blocked by the hammer. And we're gonna see. Now this could get interesting here.
Bell does a very good kill with the bomb usage in the compass room. We got a compass to Hera in the icebreaker chest, and Bell spotted a landmo at the bottom of Ice Palace.
So here's the check you can't make right now unless you see the hammer. And there's the big key. How interesting.
Potentially some logical implications there, because you know the big key is logically required to complete the dungeon, so there could be locking out certain items from being behind an Ice Palace clear, but I don't know how much that's worth. It's just a normal crystal, so you don't think you can read too much into that. A bomb pack in the freezer room will drop down and actually check the big chest, yeah.
Oh, did I call that like 45 minutes ago or what?
Ugh.
Hammer in ice big chest, and now the dungeon is full clearable. Thanks, game.
Oh, I hate it. Schulzer won the bet. Ice tea, I mean, I guess that's close enough. That was ice big chest, but whatever. Yeah,
fair,
that sure is a hammer in ice big chest. I hate it.
To be completely fair, Schulzer won 2 bets because he also called the compass to Hera to be in here. And blocked by hammer, of course. I bet you Bell's probably got some thoughts about that hammer too.
Yeah, krelbel's got his hammer now right behind Dr. Diabetes and is going to go ahead and drop in, and we'll kill this here landmo. I used to check Ice Tea.
Yeah, I don't
Reasonable.
like leaving Ice Tea here.
Yeah.
I did think about it. You don't have rods yet. You don't have a bow yet. You don't have a hook shot yet. There's so much that you could possibly find at the mountain, but if it's not there, and you've left it in ice, how long is it before you come back to it?
Especially since that's the other small key on the boss, so that tells us A, Samaria logically required, but we had that forever. B, the rest of the dungeon is items.
And you might see our restreamer today, Psychonaut, putting those links out in chat. Make sure you follow these 2 runners. Again, this is our first of a semi-final best of 3, so one of these 2 players will be playing in the Challenge Cup final to come in the next couple weeks. The other one is going to be on the sidelines like me and Eddie.
Yep, the winner of this set will go on to face the winner of the set, which is Farfalu versus Vinterv. Pronounce all those V's, and that will be our actual finals for the Challenge Cup match once those 2 sets are decided. We'll know in about a week's time what our final looks like.
And of course, big shout outs to Adalor joining me here today for this one. And Daruk is keeping us in line from the Trackers booth.
Yep, I checked the schedule this morning. I'm just like, wow, that sure is Zaru's name on this matchup here, and there's nobody in slot 2 for the commentary. I should probably just go for that, because it seems like a pretty good idea.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I think the Farfalu Vinter matchup is going to be broadcast over on GMP?
I couldn't say. I didn't see it on the schedule just yet, so I'm not sure on that. Psychonauts is correct, so he knows what's up.
Kind of like how sports does, like, one division one way, the other division the other way sort of deal. Yeah, so keep an eye on Go Mode podcast scheduling if you want to catch the other half of this bracket here. But for today and right now, we are seeing DrDiabetus deciding to go back through the dungeon.
Yeah, he's going to clean up
iced tea.
Yeah, he's cleaning up the items here.
And the only thing Bell's left is the check that would be blocked by the hammer up in the H room.
Yeah, by force of, not being able to get it on the way through.
See if he decides that that's worth skipping, because you suddenly have a ton of checks over on East Death Mountain, both Light and Dark World.
The mountain beckons. Oh, he's going back in for it. Okay.
Yeah, this is a faster check. I'd be more tempted to skip this one than Iced Tea, but, I mean...
Yeah.
If you don't want to take the risk.
Yeah, this one is definitely faster to get to, because all you have to do is Ice Break again, and then you're just literally right there. So it's not that bad to get to. If you're going to skip one, I mean, I feel like Iced Tea is a more time-consuming one. You probably gamble that one, but I don't blame either of them for not wanting to take gambles at this point. I mean, maybe you're feeling like you're still in an okay spot time-wise because you recognize the seed has been kind of terrible and really kind of bottlenecky, so you might feel like there's not a huge time difference between these two. And you'd be right, they're relatively close still.
So that hammer on its own gave us 11 checks. You've got Spiral, you've got all 7 in Paradox, you've got 2 in Super Bunny, you've got the top of the floating island you can mirror back from Hookshot Cave proper, and you also have Spike Cave. That's not accounting for what's in Turtle Rock if we need to make that dive.
Dr. Diabetes says his bundle of sticks off the ether tablet, and he will be heading east, utilizing that hammer to get over there, and we'll get to acquiring items. No, he's not done with hair. Oh, he has to kill the boss here still, true.
Yeah, now he's going to go ahead and take care of Helmasaur King. Which, honestly, I feel like... Again, now with the hammer, it makes a little more sense to do this, knowing you've already done Thieves Town. Pyramid Fairy could absolutely be a thing to do here.
What's Bell up to now?
Bell hasn't done Thieves Town yet, so I'd be willing to gather that's going to be this, Magic Bat, and Peg Cave.
Okay, just cleaning up. I mean, yeah, that's reasonable. You do know Thieves is a crystal. You want to clear it, and you can actually full clear the dungeon now. So, yeah, pretty reasonable.
For as long as we've been in this run so far, we're an hour 6. We don't have much by way of information at all.
Yeah, we're still missing 4 dungeon prizes. One of those is a lurking pendant, which will finish off our knowledge. But until then, we are still in the dark on what that is. We've got a decent smattering of compasses, but we've still got a couple of bosses we'll be walking into potentially blind. No repeat bosses either yet, so we can't necessarily get any hints on what could or couldn't be.
And the other thing that gets interesting here, too, is without having seen either rod yet, you could very well see a Trinex where you'd not like to find a Trinex, and the Ice Rod could be anywhere else not blocked by that dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, Helma not playing very nice for Diabetes at all. Oh, Bell could go ahead and just turn in Purple Chest after this. Not Purple Chest, the Big Red Bomb. They're all colored somethings, okay?
Yeah, having Hammer now, you're not concerned about having to climb AT or Bomb Dupe to actually get Pyramid Fairy checked.
He's also going to do the back of Thieves Town. This is very much not going to yield much, but there is one check he's going to be able to get that we didn't see Diabetus get, and that is the big chest at Thieves Town.
Yep, that is very much orphaned, and for DrDiabetus, could be a potential big thing if there's something there. Yeah, we're going to see him now completed Hera. That dungeon is cleaned. He's got his prize off the Helma. We're going to actually head to East Mountain at an hour 7 and change here, finally getting over here to see what lurks in terms of, everything. First off, look at the island. That's a bomb pack. We were missing those earlier, jeez.
Yeah, now that we've picked them up, the game is just like, oh, by the way, if you were patient, I would have given you bombs anyway.
You just have to wait like an hour. All right, first new check on DrDiabetus' side, dropping into the Spiral Cave chest. We have, there's a bomb pack. We don't even need it. We throw those bombs on the ground. We're full. Krelbel's got all his bottles now.
I'm over here just shaking my head. Is that why there are so many blueberries in Hyrule? You just keep throwing them on the ground, they'll just sprout new bushes.
I like that explanation.
Is that what the little shiny bubbles are on the mountain?
What's in the big chest? That's a compass to Eastern.
That could be valuable information, but probably not. Oh my gosh, it's the boots and a sword! Sitting in Paradox 2.
That's a good start.
Oh man, the boots alone are just great. That's 2 additional checks we can make. You can also now clean up all of Desert.
In Paradox 5, we got a heart, 50 rupees, another 5 rupees, 2 more items to go, 2 more chances at glory, another armor upgrade, and a big 20. Well, Paradox was decent overall still. You do not hate having boots or a tempered sword. Those are both extremely good things to have. Rebel's done with Thieves Town now, claims his crystal, and DrDiabetus is now going to get into the dark side of the mountain. He'll be able to get one more check now with the boots from the bonk chest in Hookshot Cave. Does a map check. That's Pendant Swamp. All right, that's our dungeon knowledge.
Now, I'm a little bit, I guess peeved is the word I would use, that Diabetus decided to come up through Super Bunny instead of opening the TR portal that you'll need to open later anyway. Chat asking if there is an available 4th sword in the pool. The answer is yes, we can get some butter. We have to find it first.
Yep, the pool is normal, completely unrestricted. We're not capped on any particular items. Spell spots a 50 rupees in the Hammer Pegs Cave. Yeah, the only twist with this mode are the maps and compasses being shuffled and the bosses being mixed around. Otherwise, it is a very typical open 7-7 slow Ganon. Slow meaning you gotta, of course, climb GT to defeat him.
Things feeling a little pinched off again here.
Yeah, I mean, we found boots and a sword, but kind of like, oh, well, he's still looking for, more. We've got a Bombus medallion for TR. Not that the medallion entry requirement matters, but we'll go ahead and open that up.
And I would have to say you're probably going right in here in this situation.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a specific layout of keys that would allow this to actually be progression for our runners here. If you get the key in the chest on the left, you can open the door, go into Chain Chomps. If you get a key in Chain Chomps, the big key is Forced Vanilla. Usually. Not always.
Yep, assuming there are no keys in the roller room, basically, that allows us to potentially go, all the way to Laser Bridge.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to see Spike Cave out of Bell before he touches the rest of the mountain. I think I like this.
Yeah, I don't hate this. It's a check you... It's easy to, kind of miss a Spike Cave for a long time. It's this thing you don't necessarily want to do, and it's kind of just, It's easy to clear around Spike Cave and leave it kind of by itself. It's a compass to TR. Well, that'll be useful for when he goes over there.
It's decent knowledge to have, not actually anything useful on its own.
Yeah, I mean, TR is a dungeon that takes a long time to get to the boss. It's an extremely linear dungeon. It's a very long trek. If you're in this dungeon, you would like to know for sure whether you can kill the boss. Because if you run into like at this point an Argus or a vanilla Trinix down there, you're like, well, I have to make a long trip back here.
Unfortunately, we are getting walled out of TRs. That's the big key in Chain Chomps.
Yep. So there's a small key in the roller room, at least one over there, that allows us to continue. So we are now hard fire rod locked. Looks like DrDiabetus is also going to head over and finish up the mountain trip with Spike Cave. Get that compass a little bit late, whereas Bell will be able to check that out while we're over here and give us a little glimpse at our future boss kill in Turtle Rock. If you're looking at boss compasses, you're looking really, you're hoping to find a Trinex somewhere that isn't. It's basically anywhere but GT, because the more Trinexes you find out there, the less likely they are to be in the basement of GT. Because that's pretty much the worst thing you want to see. The worst thing you don't want to see ever in this mode is an ice Trinex. It is a very grueling, terrible fight.
Yeah, but at least in this mode, you're playing with a normal item pool.
Yeah, at least.
Roll into Bossmizer and like harder expert on mystery rolls. Oh boy.
King's Tomb is a map of desert for us. We already know that. That's green. Not helpful at all.
I'm starting to feel like the run with the boots to go clean up desert is the thing to do.
Yeah, we're going to see him check out Bonk Rocks here as well. And then, yeah, I don't hate the desert play, because you've only gotten, one item in a desert? So there are 3 more lurking in there. And, well, 4, actually, if you count the green pendant as added value for it.
Yeah, and since we know it's the big key on the torch, the small key, oh, hello, Fire Rod, uh-oh.
Hello. Change of plans. Let's go clear Skull.
I'm still not discounting the possibility of something being in desert. However, that's looking a little bit more slim now that it's required.
Yeah, we just got to Fire Rod. Well, Fire Rod now, of course, lets us do more in Turtle Rock. That thing we wish we had a few minutes earlier.
Actually, I think it allows us to completely finish Turtle Rock, provided the boss isn't vanilla.
Yeah, I mean, is the whole...
Or in Argus. We don't have the hook shot yet.
Still can't kill an Argus or a Trinex. Those are the 2 bosses we do not want to see just yet if you're trying to clear a dungeon.
This might be the longest I've seen a Bossmizer seed go without hitting boss mode.
Right? Usually you've got all your items by about now that you don't have to worry about bosses. But I don't hate seeing it, though. It is nice to still care about that information. Like every compass you see, you're just like, as long as you don't have all your rods and your hook shot, you're still just like, well, I might want to know that there's a boss there I can't kill for later, Deadrock's giving Bell a little bit of trouble as he's trying to get up to the TR portal, and now DrDiabetus is heading into the back of Skull. We do have 1 item still back in here, too. So we got a Moth to kill, and out of 2 checks, 1 of them will have our last item in Skullwoods. Confirming there is indeed a cold stare in Moth's room, which is not an appetizing fight at all.
Not really a good situation to be in with this low magic either.
It really isn't. Yeah, you got to get your Gibdo key there. Correct play of hitting it into the spike, so it takes gold sword damage and dies in 2 hits.
Yeah, an important little thing about this exact situation, with a key known in Skull Woods, Mothula cannot have a key. Moth himself is 3 key locked, no matter what. Unless you're playing Doors or something. I don't know.
Yeah, Doors messes up everything.
Luckily, Cold Stare just kind of falls to pieces when you push him into the spikes. Hey, there's the other Greg.
Nothing to back a skull, but that is indeed a crystal we want to have. We're going to need that for later to get into GT, so we got to do it.
Bell is playing chicken with this berry.
Gotta wait patiently for the berry to move so we can bonk across, yeah, and get his heart piece. And then say, nope, we're out of here. No bonk shot today. Oh, we're going to get a ped read from DrDiabetus. We haven't been talking about ped at all.
I don't understand this, though, because ped is so far from being in logic that I would think I would just discount it at this point.
I mean, yeah, it's... I mean, you're here. Why not just give a quick peek at it and know for sure? You don't need to think about it. There's no having to worry about it all. It's dead. You know for sure it's dead.
That's fair. But it's depending on what is lying in Swamp Palace, what is lying in Misery Mire, where the flute is, where the hook shot is. It's just too many things to really... I'm not tempted by ped at this point.
Yeah.
It is a good little piece of mind. You don't have to come back and read it later. I would happen to imagine we'll probably see Graveyard Ledge here now.
Swing at the Stalfos Bell. There you go. Yep, we're going to see DrDiabetus run across and get this one last check in the north part of the world for Grave Ledge. krelbel's going to get kicked out after he gets his not key and chain chomps. Eating the block there, yeah, as they do. Well, not small key, you know what I mean, but yeah. And he is out of there with his aim and quit. What's on Grave Ledge? A little bit of bomb race stalking and the moment of truth. Is it important?
Oh, wow.
Ooh, first bow in Grave Ledge in an hour 19. Well, then.
And suddenly we're looking pretty on crystals. The only one we can't... the only one we can't obtain is the one that's blocked by a Trinax or an Argus. That's otherwise good.
Yeah, assuming we run into a Trinax or an Argus blocking crystal, that could just be everything we need.
Yeah, this is hover mode now, unless we're boss blocked.
Yeah, assuming we don't run into an Argus, this is now officially a hover seed. You hate to see it. But yeah, if we run into an Argus or a Trinax, we're not in go mode, and we're going to have to hunt down at least one more item to actually finish the game. krelbel spotted his pendant swamp and now knows his full dungeon layout. And we'll be following in short order, also running over to Grave Ledge to snag that bow. Oh, he's doing the full cleanup here. He's got more checks to do. Yeah, doing this all in one fluid route here. Yeah.
He's gonna grab this fire rod first, and that is actually interesting because he could just turn back.
I hope he doesn't. I hope he cleans us up. Because for all we know, that other bow is just like late in GT or something. You know, progressive bows as they do. Yeah, he continues. Okay, good. Correct. Chat's asking if we've seen any double bosses yet. No, we have not. All three of our double bosses are still pending discovery.
And our tracker Daruk is pointing something out that we didn't mention earlier. We saw neither runner attempt to hover Hookshot Cave. I would be willing to say for sure I know Bell does not hover. And it appears that Diabetus also does not hover. So yes, we'll be looking for a hookshot, unless either of these runners plan on Moldworm bouncing to finish the seed.
I believe Bell is capable of the Moldworm bounce. I'm fairly sure he's talked about it previously. So I think if it comes to that, he might just attempt it.
And
I have no idea for DrDiabetus' side, though. It's
still a little premature to think about, just because we don't know if Argus is going to pop up or not.
Oh, yeah. And it's entirely possible that we have the hookshot just pop up naturally. There are still some checks ahead of us, some bosses we have to kill, more of TR that we have to do. You know, it's a linear dungeon. You're going to check most of the stuff along the way looking for keys anyway. So, yeah.
Okay, well, you want to feel silly for a moment? We're talking about Moldworm Bounce. We're playing Boss Miser.
Oh, wait. It has to be a Moldworm up there. That's a good call, actually.
That would have to be our duplicate Moldworm for that to even be viable. So we are looking for a hookshot.
That's a possibility. The top of the tower is a restrictive room. Not all bosses can be placed there.
Right, and there's only a handful of bosses that could replace a Moldworm there, you know. Namely, most of the time you'll see Mothula, Cold Stare, Helmasaur, or Vitreous up there.
Malmo in particular telling me, okay, but you can't Helma bounce. Yes.
I mean, you could, you just end up falling a lot. like
You can
all the
it
time.
can certainly bounce off the Helmasar, but what good will it do you? Not much. She tried it. I'm not surprised actually. All right,
I'm
Dr.
more
Diabetus
impressed
now.
that
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I say I'm more impressed that Malmo's tried it than other than we haven't heard anything about it. Because you know something like that, it's
Cold Stare,
completely
okay.
duplicate Cold Stare. Interesting.
So I had a moment there where there are certain bosses when you're walking into their room from a dark room and you see the light cone and you know there's something extra in the room, like a large sprite of some sort, and that can mean Trinex is in the room, but thankfully for Dr. Diabetus, it is just a duplicate Cold Stare.
You know, red mail or no red mail, you walk into one of those Cold Stare puffs, they still hurt for 2 hearts. Or is it 1 heart? I can do math, I swear.
I believe you. I believe on red it's still 2. Because it's green 4, blue 3, yellow, or red 2 if I'm correct. Trouble having a nice, easy Cold Stare fight in Moth's room. Like we said earlier, the spikes make them take... It's knocked into the spikes, they take Gold Sword damage, and Cold Stare being here actually just completely disables the conveyor floor, so it's really not... It's one of the bosses you're okay with seeing in Moth's room.
That does, however, mean we are not going to see a Cold Stare at the top of the tower.
Correct, that knocks out that. So we know that on top of the tower is a boss that we can kill.
It also means we're not going to see a Cold Stare here in Eastern or on Trinex either. Alright, Bell also wants to take the worst case scenario and shove it into the river. And immediately saves and quits.
At this point, that puts us with about a 16 to 23-ish% chance, depending on the dungeon, of still running into an Argus in any single given place. We have a compass to Eastern. I don't know if Dr. Diabetus had us, but we have seen a compass to Eastern. I don't know if he checked the map though to poke at the boss. He's going for it, so I assume he either hasn't seen it's killable or does not have the compass.
So curiously, Bell just opted to save and quit. On his way to Pod Eastern, just decided on a whim to save and quit.
What is he
this
up to?
Pyramid Fairy? He might be doing Pyramid Fairy before he goes over to Pod Eastern. Oh, there's your Argus! Oh no!
There's an Argus in Eastern! Dang
and
it.
that Bell's save and quit is now vindicated. Because we were looking for Hookshot.
We are indeed now hard required to Hookshot. Even if these two could both hover, there is no way you can get into GT without that Hookshot. So, Hover Seed, goodbye. We've been saved.
So we're going to see the Pyramid Fairy play from Bell. And this is going to be TR from Diabetus.
Yep, he's headed back up here, take his Fire Rod up to TR, and actually go through the rest of the dungeon.
And looking for, as far as we know, just the Hookshot, but it could still be an Ice Rod hunt. That would require us to either have a Trinex on Armos 2, a Trinex on Landmo 2, or a Trinex in his vanilla location. I mean, given the way the seed has been going, I don't know what I expected.
Yeah, it's kind of like, oh, well, those were things in Pyramid Fairy, I guess.
See, this is kind of just a rough story for Bell, though, because he's going to do the same thing that Diabetus just did and get walled by an Argus.
Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, can't blame him for doing it. It's your very logical play. Go attempt to killer these two dungeons.
The other thing I'm thinking about here is, oh boy. Just as soon as we saw the boots, I'm like, oh, we can clean up desert now.
Yep, that desert is still looming. I mean, it's green pendant, so don't blame them. Oh, he's got the eastern compass. That's very good. He knows. All right. Yeah.
Oh no. Everyone has done this at least once in the racing sphere. You forget you don't have the hook shot, and you make the long way around.
The what do we call that? The slide of shame? I don't know. Yep, we've all done it. If you race this game, you have done it. Guarantee it. You can't even say you haven't. Don't lie to us. All right, there's one key on right side and a compass to GT. That's helpful. Not. We don't actually get boss hints in GT, so that actually is a useless compass.
Yeah, unfortunately, while it'd be nice to see what bosses are in the climb or blocking the 3 checks behind ice, no. Unfortunately, such functionality does not exist.
Yep, the map and compass for GT is still functionally useless. I mean, you get the check indicator in GT, I guess, but like, when are you ever really caring about that? If you race this game, you know how many checks are in the dungeon. It is nice to have if you're a viewer and you're watching for your big key counting and you actually hit the torch, so you know exactly what that number is.
You know, the number of checks in the dungeon is equal to the number of checks you open before you get the big key. Because you don't care after that. It's just more bomb. So we do have...
Go ahead.
We do have the rest of Turtle Rock and the Mimic Cave at our disposal here. Did we have... I don't remember. Did we see... We don't have the TR compass, do we? We do. We absolutely do. What's in here again?
I don't think you looked at it yet.
Neither player's looked.
I don't have it marked on my little sheet for it, so I don't believe they've looked at it.
Daruk is telling us it's vanilla.
Is it actually a Trinex here? Okay. I'm willing to believe it.
Does that mean we have an ice rod on Laser Rouge? Come on, game.
All right, Mimic Cave, what do you have for us today? Is it anything important? Oh, there's a flute. We maybe don't want to see that.
I was just thinking, I didn't want to say it. You know, one thing I really wouldn't like to see right now is the flute.
That just gives you access to the mire area, and there's a pendant there. You don't want to have to go to mire.
The flute on its own gives us 3 checks. Those checks are the 2 at Mire Shed and the Checkerboard Cave. And also 4 checks in Misery Mire, which is a dungeon you'd really not want to spend some time in.
Yep, at this point, you're in this race, you're trying your hardest to avoid making any extra checks, because you know the longer this goes on, the longer you may not be so sure what your opponent has been up to if they've made some play that you haven't and found the correct progression.
That's why I would have thought, you know, maybe you chase the boots into desert. Now the desert play is a little bit nicer to do, you know, from a flute point. But you have to go back you still have to go back to CAC to turn the flute on.
That's still worth it overall. Even a late flute like this, like, I mean, you still might have to scour the mire area for stuff. You don't go turn on your flute. You don't not do it. You turn that flute on and then go to 6 and probably do desert first. Yeah, because it's a relatively quicker set of items than mire. Yep, there's that vanilla Trinex.
All right, 3 bombs.
Next
the
confirmed.
Required key.
That mostly knocks out our chance.
Ooh, nothing here.
And we're out. Like, cannot kill that Trinex. We're back later. Luckily, we'll be able to last engine over to GT after that. So, sad. You're already committing to one mountain climb anyway. Not a big deal.
Yeah, and this is going to be a flute activation for Diabetus here. And probably, I would say it's going to be mire into desert. And I really wouldn't be surprised if Meyer is the answer. The first check that we open in Link's house is the compass to Meyer. Superstition confirmed.
Yeah, no matter what now, no matter which pendant dungeon we walk into now, we have all our compasses, so we can know for sure whether it's a boss we can kill if we find like a duplicate Argus or something. But ideally, we don't have to worry about that. We are still missing a moth and a blind. We haven't seen either of those, even one of them yet, so we know for sure those are lurking somewhere. And a Vitreous, actually. Those are the three we haven't seen. So among the 5 bosses we've yet to spot, 3 of those are guaranteed those. Then we still have 2 repeats to see as well.
Just imagine hookless Swamp Palace for Ice Rod. And hook shot on Trinex.
Just a heart piece and checkerboard. We're going to continue on towards back in the Dark World. Dash across left. We'll see if he goes from Mire or Desert first.
Yeah, VXR, that's an Argus sitting in Eastern. Unfortunately, Diabetus had to find out the hard way by running all the way back. Bell at least was able to save a little time by virtue of having the compass. Oh, I love this.
Bell loves to show this off. He does this all the time now that he knows he can do it. And most people don't know about this, the camera unlock in TR, but yeah, you can do that. You do have to put up with the pokey RNG kinda, and if one's on the right, one's left, if you can kill the one on the right, and then just be like, all right, left to left, one scroll off. But it's neat to see. You do have to be careful though. If you are going to go to the right door, fix your camera before you make that transition. For the love of God, fix your camera. Otherwise, bad things happen. Bell's got his flute.
We do have Misery Mire for Dr. Diabetus. Again, this is another one of those dungeons that gets twice the value from its vanilla counterpart. With the maps and compass shuffled, instead of 2 items, you get 4. The problem is, the keys block most of the items anyway.
Yeah, Mire still has 3 small keys in it. You have to run around and deal with picking those up. There's our first item being the bug net.
Some of us would call that go mode, but in this case, I mean, unless you're going to bag yourself an Argus, not quite. Notice I didn't say bag yourself a Trinex. That's a little bit too heavy to handle.
Yeah, probably. Argus, though, light and fluffy. Yeah, you probably fit in a net.
You consider a giant eyeball to be light and fluffy?
Yeah, it's got a lot of puffs. They look buoyant.
Well, we know where the big key is. Which also says there's an item in the chest on the right side next to the big chest. No, actually, well, not guaranteed. That could still be our second key. What I mean to say is there's an item in the chest next to the big chest. If it's not the item that's a lot of words. All right, that is a save and quit from Bell. Of course, without the hook shot, saving the portal, kind of a big deal. And a high threat of having to go into Swamp anyway. Might as well take advantage of the flute and mirror because, you know, it's not even just about Swamp. It's about Desert, too.
Vanilla big key, because of course it is.
You know, what if it's Ice Rod on Vitreous and Swamp Palace? I feel like I'm playing a game of Clue.
Well, what if at this point?
Hey!
The seed could easily just give us the item we want and then let us go and finish it off, but it could still require us to unravel the rest of the progression chain if it's going to be holding out on us for that long still.
All right, we knew that had to be a key. That or the big chest had to be... Well, the big chest couldn't be a key, so that had to be a key. And then the big chest and the boss are all that's left of the Misery Mire here.
Just a heart in the big chest. All right, we're going to head down to the boss.
One thing that would make me really consider just not really worrying about the boss, you have the compass. What if this is your duplicate Argus? Okay, it's just blind.
It's our first blind.
And this is a weird arena to fight blind in. Just because you got that pool of, like, acid goo on the top half of the screen. Oh, Bell opting to do desert first. I like this.
I kind of don't hate it. It's I feel like this is better than doing Mire relatively, and you do have from a race perspective, like viewing this race, we like to see divergence even this late. Makes it interesting.
And so we know this is going to be the key in the big chest. And he'll also have the added benefit of being able to mirror back and decide to fight the boss or decide to go into Mire, depending on how things shake out here. Also depends on the boss of Desert, too. I mean, we're still in a situation where one duplicate boss, Trinex or Argus, could just tell you which direction you need to go in.
Yeah, at this point, we are still pending 2 duplicate bosses. It's entirely possible we run into, like, another Argus.
Now, remember, I did talk about stealing the key earlier. It wouldn't have paid off at all. But we're over here making these checks anyway. You could have saved yourself a little bit of time.
DrDiabetus has taken down the blind, hoists up his pendant, and we're going to go ahead and mirror now and get into doing his desert checks.
It's got to be Swamp, doesn't it?
I mean, it's starting to... more and more it looks like it, yeah. Unless it's back here on the desert boss.
See, this is why Swamp's the best dungeon. Even when it's not required, it's required.
Yeah, you know. I do like Swamp. It is my favorite dungeon in the game. I enjoy it. Indeed, chat, we do still need Ice Rod because we have spotted a Vanilla Trinex and TR. Oh, there's our there's an Armos in the back of Desert. That's 2 of those. Oh, we already knew about this one. That's our first Armos, isn't it? Never mind. That's not a duplicate
Yeah, it
yet.
is.
We spotted that one a long time ago, and I was just like, I know we've seen one already. It was this one.
Well, I completely blanked that we saw it here at all. Hey, would you look at that? It's the Ice Rod!
Who wants to go kill a Trinex for a hook shot? Do you make that play? Okay, so now the decision. If you're krelbel, what do you do right now? Do you chase that crystal immediately, turning green pennant on a whim? Do you make the safe play and go to Mire? Do you go crazy and go to Hookless Swamp? What do you do? He's floating.
I think you turn in your green pendant. You bank that it's green pendant. I don't know about going to TR here, but I don't like Mire either. Swamp is huge. It's 6 dungeons without any key sanity setting, or 6 dungeons, 6 items without any key sanity settings. It's 8 in this case. Even without if hookshot's your go, if it's vanilla, it just feels so bad.
Oh, 50 rupees on Saha. Not there. Where's he going? All right, where are you fluting? Moment of truth.
No.
What is his decision?
No,
Back to 6.
Meyer.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. I mean, yeah.
I was holding my breath for Swamp, and you know it. You
yeah,
know
of
I
course.
love Swamp as much as you do. Probably more.
I mean, you can't blame either of these guys for skipping Hookless Swamp. It's not the most appealing play here.
It's not, but it might just be the play that matters. I mean, there's few things I love more than a Swamp Dive. In any mode, in any prize setting. And, like, the big one is, like, the single arrow. I might like that more than Swamp, and there's not much else. Alright, so it's gonna be a nice rod for DrDiabetus. Let's see what he decides to do with this green pendant.
Yeah, he has one less option here because he's already cleared Desert and Mire. So the decision for him now is, probably turning green pendant because that's a quick check, and then Hookless Swamp, or do you go for TR and literally say what's on the boss? Oh, he's going immediately for TR, not even green pendant. Okay. So if it's a hook shot on vanilla Trinix, which is ridiculous, then that pretty much hands it to DrDiabetus. If he's wrong here and it's actually Hookless Swamp, and krelbel does not go immediately for Turtle Rock and says let's go for more density and go for Hookless Swamp, then this is still very much a race.
This also could kind of boil down to just how much Diabetes wants to not bother with Swamp Palace.
Yeah.
There are a couple orphans he has not done yet, including the Thieves' Town Big Chest, including the Pyramid Fairy.
And we have already seen, was it DrDiabetus that did first check Swamp?
Yes, he already did do the first check of Swamp.
Yeah, so he's
get out of the way.
He's slightly less incentivized to actually go back to Swamp, considering he's already knocked out one of those front checks that could be the hook shot.
Chat's talking about climbing GT. Well, it doesn't actually matter whether we find the hook shot before GT, because actually we need it. One of our crystal bosses is an Argus. Yep.
Do you remember we have an Argus in Crystal Eastern, so we're not climbing GT without hook shot.
Yeah, there's no physical way unless you're gonna, DQ yourself by doing some black magic and a little crystal dupe or something. But that's not happening here.
Yeah, not in this race format. If krelbel was allowed, he would have done it already. I guarantee it.
You're going to TR before checking Swamp. I still feel like there's just that much more of a chance that what we're looking for is in Swamp as opposed to the one check all the way down here on Trinix.
Yeah, it's a decision. I mean, it's a bold decision. You're basically saying, well, I definitely need to kill this pendant boss. You're gambling that the hook shot is here, and that you don't need another mountain. Well, you need another mountain climb anyway. I mean, it's a decision. You're waging this versus Hookless Swamp, basically. I feel like Hookless Swamp is the more reasonable play here because if you find it there, then you literally save yourself a mountain climb.
This is also a density play too. Like,
yeah,
you're weighing one check on a required boss versus a dungeon where you can get literally any number of items up front. Oh, come on, Bell. You had to know that was a key, Bell. You had to.
Checks his map, finds there's a blind there, says, let's go kill it.
Question from chat, is this Mario Galaxy music we're hearing? Yes, it is, in fact. As Diabetes is running the Galaxy 1 and 2 MSU today. Kind of eerie, actually, for a dungeon like Turtle Rock this late in the game. Man, I am not technical enough for that, but I like that spooky setup from Bell.
He's in the wrong lane for Spooky. And I think he missed it, maybe? He probably broke it.
Because Bell's the kind of player that would know he broke it, too.
Yep, it's broken for sure. Yep. All right, moment of truth. Is it a gross hookshot on Trinex? Oh my god.
Did I say it? I hate this game. And that is go mode for DrDiabetus at about 148. I'm sorry. Talk about commentator's curse. Come on, man.
It hurts a little bit. Yeah.
Come on. This is the seed that just keeps on giving, too. Oh no, but I actually am sorry, because this is what, I correct on 3 different calls in a race? Come on. It's like I want our runners to suffer. I promise you, I want nothing of the sorts.
It's hard to get that impression, though. You've been talking.
I have a reputation of being a witch. Cast a spell on something. Alright, well, Bell is going to collect the pendant that he doesn't need.
Let's see if he makes the correct play now of avoiding the density and going for TR.
Herein lies the problem, though, is Bell is a Turtle Rock behind.
Yeah.
And he is making the objectively correct call for the density play into Swamp. Unfortunately, on this particular seed, it just isn't the right call. So I should also point out that hookshot is boss mode. Our go mode was our boss mode. Go figure.
A bit late, but yeah. It is unusual to see having to go to an hour 40 and change, and that is how long it takes you to actually acquire all the items to kill all the bosses. But you know, you put a vanilla Trinex and with an ice rod in on pendant Landmo, or not Landmo, pendant desert boss, which is an Armos. And it turns out you got to go back up to TR and get your hook shot off that Trinex to go kill an Argus in Eastern. Yeah.
Adler, I thought you said this was your favorite mode out of the entire challenge roster.
I love this mode. Don't get me wrong. I love this mode. It creates situations.
I think at this point, Psychonaut's wishing he had rolled inverted again. He didn't roll the seed. Bell rolled the seed. But every time Psychonaut seems to be involved, it's almost always inverted. Honestly, I think we got what we came for. Or we're getting our money's worth out of this one for sure. So we're going to cross the 2-hour mark without a question.
All right, that's 7 crystals for DrDiabetus.
That's part of the fun, though, too, is because even though the maps and the compasses and the bosses may be shuffled, we still have a game to play, chat.
Yep, those keys are not shuffled, and you know what that means. Let's try taking a guess at where that GTBK is gonna be. I will, of course, take my usual number of 18, because this is the number I always guess.
And once again, the Dead Rocks are proving to be quite alive and sentient, and they're really just kind of a jerk to Link.
Seriously.
Or in this case, Samus. So what are we going to find in Swamp?
This is not the first mountain trip that DrDiabetus has made that has shown that Dead Rocks are terrible. First off, we get a blue boomerang.
You think we find Silvers back here?
It's possible. I'm not banking on it, but it's certainly possible. Of course, lacking hookshot, you do have to do left side the normal, slow way. There's no real way to speed this up.
You know, if we had that Psychonaut, I think we'd have a legally broken seed. That'd be one for the books. Well, here it is, as DrDiabetus is going to go ahead and step into Ganon's tower, just past the 153 mark here, and it is big key hunt time.
Right first, we'll find a 300 and a mushroom and hope room, so we are forced left by virtue of having no keys. There's a key on the torch. Rip Bob. Good news, though. That means Dr. Beast's compass counter will be accurate, so we don't have to count.
Hey, look at that.
Number 6 in the Stalfos room. There are 2 maps on left side swamp, and krelbel is now out of here. He now knows where he has to go.
So I got yelled at in chat by being told, oh, I have to actually use a number, bet with a number. I'm like, so I typed in 6, but Plumeria already had. And I had already set a bet as I expected 6 to be compass room, which it was not. Nonetheless, that's a big key. That's a climb away for DrDiabetus here. And krelbel is going to have to make his way down to TR and hope for a little bit of help from RNG and, you know, up above, I think, to come back on this one.
Yeah, as I like to say in these, it would take something utterly catastrophic to give a krelbel a significant chance in this race at this point. Not that I'm necessarily wishing for a catastrophe, that's just a kind of objective statement, like that's what it would take.
We have in fact seen stranger things happen in this community.
Yeah, you would hate to see DrDiabetus being a significant lead here and then for something actually terrible to happen that loses the race. Like that would just be, yeah, you never like to see that.
No, it's not something that anyone wants to have happen to them, their opponent, or anyone they're watching.
Yeah, you hate to take a win that way, even because you're just like, it feels bad. Like if you're in a tournament that allows like rematches, you're probably going to feel like depending on the caliber of the player, you might be like, no, let's try that again. Let's give you a fair chance at it. But in late tournament stakes, I wouldn't necessarily blame anyone for taking a win by that. It's one of those things. We're not going to get too deep into that discussion. We're getting into Wizrub's 1 here, and Samaria, we love it. It works. It's good. Good bridge RNG. Yep. Wizrub's 2, very nice. That's one of those rooms that's, it's very satisfying once you have the technique down for it. It's just like, it feels so good. And good RNG on bridge 2. Didn't get bonked off of either of those by the pigs.
And keenly remembering to reset the camera.
Yeah, if you transition while your camera is unlocked like that, it will throw you somewhere you don't want to be. Bad things will happen. You will be forced to do a save and quit or a mirror if you can.
And Bell, I'm sure, has seen things of this nature either intentionally or entirely just by forgetting to do that.
Oh, absolutely.
Nice. Like another key sitting at the top of the tower.
Key in Mini Helmer Room, because of course that is. Still 3 key locked because we're not in the entrance branch. All right. Dr. Beast is, of course, checking for, maybe we find the last bow up here. There's a shovel. That's 2 fetch quests in GT.
That's just a moth. So, I mean, we have seen every boss except for Ice Armor's location so far. That would be where Vitreous happens to be, I think.
Yep, that is we did not see a Vitreous, and that is the only boss.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, actually, no, it could be did we see the swamp boss?
No. So yeah. But we have seen... By the way, we did see Silver sitting in Moldorm's final possessions.
Because why not? Put him in the very last chest, sure.
That's how it should be. Here, this is what you need to kill Ganon.
Yeah, basically. Just like in Ocarina of Time, you get your lighter as basically as the last big thing.
Opening up with a nice triple, but not so nice from Aga afterward, and then that would have been such a cool triple too.
Ooh, angles off for those two. That could have been a triple too. He's dropping the bombs in frustration. There's your last hit.
He does clean it up after the 5th cycle though. So
yeah,
that's Bell's 6 crystal and a hook shot, and unfortunately still has a run to Eastern before we can talk about him entering the tower.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Diabetus is departing the tower. We've got to fight with the big pig, folks.
Krelbel's going to hook shot cave? Wait, Krelbel, what are you up to?
Bell is setting a portal so that he can hook over and just use Paradox Cave.
Okay, that's all right. That's fine. Yeah, you drop a portal there, save a little bit of time. And Dr. Diabetus now into the Ganon fight, and looks like he's got enough hits for his 1-on-1. Nope, didn't quite get enough in phase 2. We'll have a 2-cycle phase 2.
Luckily, it's all smooth sailing from here. Once he's in phase 3, you just gotta bat him over the side of the head with the sword a few times, and then put a few arrows in him, and he's good.
Your newfound silver arrows, you just deliver 4 of those into a stunned Ganon in phase 4, and that'll do it.
And we crossed the 2-hour mark as as promised. Ooh, careful with that fire bat. Does this land? It does not.
Just barely doesn't hit, yeah. A little bit sketchy. Oh, gotta chase him down now. Alright, back on a good rhythm here. Sneaks in another hit. You can probably get a good interrupt here. Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, that'll do it. That's gonna be a double, and that's gonna be a finish, and all we have to do is watch for this bridge to appear. The final 3 pixels, or 3 tile wide anything that you cross in the entire game. Let's see some GGs in chat for Dr. Diabetus.
And he's going to be coming across the line in first place with an official time on racetime.gg of 2 hours and 54 seconds. What a seed.
And yeah, Bell's had enough. He's saying, okay.
Yeah,
we got some more game to have. So let's see some GGs for krelbel in chat as well.
In this kind of situation where you're on restream and you're several minutes out from even completing your game, you think let's just call it a seed, and we'll get into the commentary and have a talk about it.
Hello.
Well,
hello.
Joining us are our racers today, krelbel, Dr. Diabetus, and let's hear another GG for these two.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yep, thanks, and GG. It was that certainly was a epic journey.
Yeah, yes, it was.
Any form of wild items, boss shuffle, you still don't like seeing an open seed go past 2 hours. This one was top to bottom just kind of stingy. Do you guys have any thoughts on what exactly happened here?
Yeah, this is kind of...
Twinex was quite a gamble.
Oh, yeah. A gamble I did not take. I imagine that's a large portion of the difference. I am glad I did get to find my go mode. It's always disappointing when when there's still a mystery left in the seed when your opponent finishes. So.
True.
Yeah, the first hour and a half of the seed was also interesting. Like, I was pretty late to Hammer. I forget where it was. Oh yeah, Ice. Of course, Hammer was nice.
Ice Big Chest, where it just is. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
for everything that you two did around each other, every split pathway, every check that one made and the other came back and made later, you still met up in Ice Palace to get your hammer at about the same time.
Oh.
Yeah, there were multiple, I think, funnels in this seed. So, yeah, I imagine, like, thinking about... DrDiabetus and I were discussing what all we had left when we finished, and it sounds like if we had more similar routing, this could have been pretty close, which makes me pretty excited for our next match.
Yes. Here I'm still mad at Mr. Meyer for having nothing.
Yeah, That Meyer was just like, well, there turns out there's absolutely nothing in here, and that's I mean, Meyer's a very reasonable play to make. You don't not do Meyer for like 4 items in it, but it still feels bad to get absolutely nothing out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, as I can imagine anyone could guess, my thought process behind hard last locating the hookshot and Trinex was that it's just one check. If it's not that, then you've paid an extra mountain climb, and like I was late to East of Mountain. I was late to the flute and boots, and so once I was in hookshot and ice rod mode for go mode, I had a whole bunch left open. And I decided to check all of it.
Yeah, with Hammer being kind of late, and then Hookshot being even later, and Boots late too, just like the game repeatedly said, okay, I'm going to open up a few things kind of scattered across the game. I'll let you decide when to get to them, basically. It's kind of, yeah, not the greatest seed in terms of how in the order you get to do things, though. But yeah, no, that's totally valid. Like, yeah, we were talking like it's Pennant Swamp versus, yeah, if you find the hookshot here, then you save yourself a mountain climb. It's a very reasonable play. It's just unfortunately incorrect because there are 2 maps on left side swamp. That's all you get. Yeah.
I was honestly feeling pretty good when I finished off left side swamp and determined that, okay, it's now a hard last location for hookshot on Trinex, or shovel on Trinex, or mushroom and hookshot on something that those lead to. I was feeling pretty good at that point because I figured, okay, that's a pretty reasonable play to hard last locate that in this circumstance, and I was pretty thorough in my routing before that, so I was thinking, okay, as long as DrDiabetus also hard last locates that, then I should be in pretty good shape. But that's not how it turned out.
Yeah, lucky me.
Yeah, unfortunately, even with the tempting fate of how many items can you get out of the front of swamp with or without a hookshot, could it possibly be a vanilla hookshot? It's just drop down the crystal boss you needed to beat anyway. And that play could go either way any given seat, so I don't think either player picked wrong. It just worked out one way and not the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll put this one in the books. 1-0 for Diabetes going forward here. What are you guys hoping to see in the next match?
Maybe a normal open seat and not something like this.
I am wishing for the opposite. I hope for anything but tournament hard. But whatever it is, I'm sure it'll be fun. It's been a while since my last tourney hard, so I haven't looked at our decks, but I imagine there's a pretty good chance of that happening. No matter what, it'll be fun. I think this is a good matchup in terms of in terms of skill, and it's like I said, I think if the routing was a little bit closer, this could have been a very close match. So looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, this Challenge Cup has been like, I mean, for you two to make it in the top 4 is no easy feat. Like, Challenge Cup this year has had a lot of good talent in it. Like every round, like even some of the groups were just like really tough to get through. So like still, even though only one of you is going to get through it, like no matter what, like congrats to both of you for making this far. Top 4 is still quite a great place to make it to in this tournament.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks so much, and thanks everyone for putting on the restream, and thanks everyone. Thanks again to DrDiabetus. This was a fun one, and GG again. Looking forward to the next.
Yeah, me too.
Which I think is going to be Thursday, same time we were discussing right before this. So we'll get that on the schedule and see you all then.
That answers that question. I was going to ask when you two might be planning on putting your next race up. So yeah, we'll see about probably getting. I mean, it's a top 4. We're trying to get those restreamed if at all possible. So you'll most likely see that one here again. Come Thursday, you can look for that at the same time, just as krelbel said. Yeah, thank you again to the crew, Zeruvian. It's been great to be in the commentary booth with you again, and also shout out to our tracker Daruk for keeping things accurate on screen with us. And I think that's all I've got. Any final thoughts, Zaru?
Yeah, and if you haven't already, make sure you give these 2 runners a follow, krelbel and DrDiabetus. Again, you heard it right from them. It looks like Thursday, same time, possibly same channel. But that's all going to depend now, isn't it, on what's going on here at ZSR. And for that, I'm going to turn it over to our restreamer Psychonaut to close us out.
Alrighty, well, GG's the boat of our runners today. Fantastic race. Really enjoyed watching it. Please make sure, as the com said, to give them both a follow and show them some support. Thank you again to Adler and to Zaruvian for the excellent commentary. Really enjoyed it. And of course to Daruk for tracking, doing a killer job as always. Please be sure you give everyone a follow. As you just heard them announce, they're probably going to do the second race 5 o'clock Eastern on Thursday. That will be restreamed here on ZeldaSpeedRuns. Exact channel to be confirmed, but keep an eye on the schedule for that. If you're looking for more Link to the Past randomizer action, the Cross Keys tournament is going on at the moment. We've got a load of matches for the Swiss round 1 happening, including tonight actually. There's one coming up in about 40 minutes. The Swiss round 1 between RD Watch V and Iron Gamer 4565 happening right here on Zelda Speedruns. Then at about 9 o'clock Eastern we have GFE versus Late Bit, which is happening over on Zelda Speedruns 3. And then, of course, if you're looking for something that's different from the Link to the Past randomizer, we have the Zelda 2 randomizer weekly race happening over on Zelda Speedruns 2 at about 10 o'clock Eastern. All that information will be on the schedule if you need access to it. And if you're new here and you like what you see, consider dropping us a follow to keep up to date with what we're doing around these parts. For the moment, though, we're going to send you all over to, I have no idea how to pronounce this, but I'm going to give it my best shot, DrDiabetus. I think that's how you pronounce it. They're doing some cross keys action at the moment, so be sure to get over there and show them some love. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Psychonaut, and have a fantastic rest of your time zone. Bye-bye now.